Lately, I've been wondering about something that seems so ordinary we rarely question it. It's the idea that before we can really live our lives, we first need to feel different. Not necessarily happier, not necessarily more successful, just different somehow. Maybe more confident, more settled, more certain, more like the person we think we should be. I don't think many people say that to themselves directly. It's usually much quieter than that. It sounds more like, once I stop feeling this, once I get past this, once I finally feel okay, then life will be easier. Then I'll become more present. Then I can finally feel like I can move forward. And at first glance, this can seem completely reasonable. If you're struggling with something, of course it makes sense to hope it changes. And I'm not questioning that. What I've been thinking about is something slightly different. What happens when we quietly organize our lives around waiting for a different inner experience before fully participating in the life we have, the life that's in the here and now? That question has stayed with me because I think it's much more common than we realize. Sometimes we delay a decision because we don't feel confident enough. Sometimes we postpone a conversation because we don't feel ready. Sometimes we assume that once a certain feeling disappears, then everything else will naturally fall into place. Sometimes, perhaps that's even true. But I wonder if something else can begin happening without really noticing it. Our relationship with life can become conditional, not on what's happening around us, but on what we imagine we should be feeling before we can fully engage in it. It's almost as though life quietly becomes something we're waiting to deserve, not through achievement, through a different inner state, a state where things finally feel right. I found that interesting because those moments do happen. There are days when we feel lighter, clearer, more capable, but they don't stay. And when they pass, it's easy to begin waiting for them again, as though they were conditions for living well. And this is where I think something important can quietly happen. If we're always waiting to feel different, the present can begin to feel like an obstacle rather than the place where life is actually unfolding. The day starts to become something to get through, the feeling, something to overcome. Our current version of ourselves starts to become something we hope to eventually outgrow. Again, I want to be very careful here. I'm not suggesting that difficult feelings don't matter. I'm not suggesting that we should pretend that everything is fine. That's not what I'm pointing to. I'm pointing to the possibility that we have quietly given certain feelings authority over whether life can begin, whether we can move, whether we can participate, whether we can be fully here. And if that's true, then we're no longer simply experiencing those feelings. We're negotiating with them, waiting for permission from them. I've been asking myself whether that's one of the hidden consequences of organizing life around self-correction. Because if ordinary unease is interpreted as something that must first disappear, then life inevitably becomes something that keeps getting postponed. Not dramatically, quietly, one day at a time, one future version of yourself at a time. And the strange thing is, the future has a way of moving. You feel better for a while, and another condition appears. Another version of yourself seems necessary. Another reason to wait emerges, not because you've done anything wrong, but because the relationship itself has remained unchanged. The relationship that says, I'll really begin when I feel different. The question I've been left with isn't, how do I finally create the right inner state? It's much simpler than that. What if I've been quietly treating certain feelings as prerequisites for living when life has never asked me of that? That's something I've been thinking about, and it's something we'll continue exploring together.